My name is Father Edwin Waiguru. I come from Kiambu County, born in a village called Gathigi, and a Catholic priest who went through formation for many years, not two. Yes, and I started my priesthood journey when I was very young. Yeah, primary school, I went to a mission school in Kalimoni in Juja, so in boarding school. High school, I went to Queen of Apostles Seminary, which is just opposite Safari Park. Then I started now the main journey to priesthood did spirituality in Nakuru, a seminary called St. Mary's Moro. I went for philosophy in a school called St. Augustine in Mabanga, Bungoma. And I finished theology at St. Mathias Murumba in Tindinho, in Eldoret.
Wow.
Yes, so those are, you get 2 degrees and a certificate of spirituality. So from the year 2003 all the way to 2012.
That's a lot of years.
Yes, it takes between let's say 8 and 10, or there are even some who are called Jesuits who take even more. But from now, after trying to evaluate, I think it was not very much on the years, but what was put in you, like kind of a formation. The time of studies was not very much, but the formation, what they are putting in your head, the formation, discipline, and all this.
Now, a lot of people don't know that Catholic fathers and priests are allowed to be married.
Okay.
Can you take us through your journey of how you actually ended up as a married?
As I've said, I went through the formation in the line that do not marry. That is the Roman Catholic Church. And that is one of the rites in the Catholic Church, the bigger picture of the Catholic Church. So among all those other rites, only the Romans have the doctrine, the discipline of celibacy.
So how did you get to the point where now you, yourself as an individual, as Father Waiguru,
yes,
you've met this beautiful woman,
yes,
and you want to start a family with? I know, and you want to even start that conversation.
Okay.
How was it for you?
Also, it was a mystery to me, the way things were unfolding, because, as I said, when I finished my studies here, I got an opportunity to go abroad. As I said, I went to Rome, and then I went to as a missionary in the United States of America, where I added more knowledge. I did a course on sign language, American Sign Language, and then my superior sent me to Haiti. So now that's the point. When I was in Haiti is when things started changing, because I would introduce myself as a Roman priest. My color was black. So I started asking myself, am I Roman or am I an African? Myself, what's the true identity of an African man? A true African man should have a family, a wife and kids. So that's when I started. And I started now trying to search to know about our culture, about our who an African is.
I want us to talk a little bit about the marriage part.
Yes.
Because again, now you had to introduce this conversation and start it even with your church,
yes,
your superiors.
Yes.
How was it like for you?
So when I finished, now I started thinking about all these things in Haiti. I went back now with my superior. I told him now I need to know myself, to start searching who I am. So I went back to the US. And there, I wanted also to explore and see how Kenyans do there. So I got a bit, kutoka jia kidogo, because you are in like a crisis. You are a young person. You are not now understanding what you have always been doing in your life.
Or what you know to be right.
Yes, right. And now the other things have started coming, and you know where you have come from in Africa, and now you are in the US. And you feel like the life here is a bit better. So you want to stay there. And God did wonders. I don't know whether many people know this story. Let me tell you. I wanted to keep my status well. As you know, we just heard about the campaign in the US. And Trump is always talking about getting out of illegal immigrants. And I was there during his time. Trump's time. And so because I wanted my status, because I had gone there with missionaries visa. It's called the religious visa, and it was nearing to expire. And now, because I had already told now the church I don't want to continue with the Romans, I had to look for a way to keep myself there. So I happened to meet a Mzungu, a white lady, and we just met, and accidentally we attended a wedding, a court wedding of another friend of mine from Uganda. And while we were attending, we asked about what the process, and we followed that process, and we had attended a wedding of a friend. We left with a marriage certificate. So I got a first marriage certificate in the US there, and then but it was not for marriage purposes. It was to have.
So at this point, the church was not aware.
Yeah. Okay, I had already now told them now I want to, even this lady, I introduced him to my superior. And I told my superior now, I think I want now to live my life. Yeah, so he blessed me. So we got that marriage certificate, although as I've said, it was for me to get the legal status so that I don't have problem with Trump. So then after a while is when now I had the voice again, God now telling me, it is time to go back to your people. I was now surprised. I didn't understand whether was it to go back to the Roman church or to go back to our people as Africans. So I tried to kupuziria hiyo safari, hiyo sauti, but then it became so big, and many signs happened, including having an accident, hitting some animals on the road as I was driving. It was telling me, just go back home.
Go back home.
So when I came back here, it was during the time of COVID, and I was to go back. But my flight was among those that were cancelled during COVID. So during that time is when I met my lovely wife. And so somebody like today had asked me, how did I find myself? Now I've come from US, I've come home. What was the reception of the family and people knowing that you have been in the Roman, now you have switched? I told my friend that God had taken care of that, because I come in Kenya when there is COVID. People are not greeting each other, hakuna kusalimiana, hakuna socialization, so mtu anakaa kivya. So there were no many stories. People in our village were seeing somebody who has come with COVID. They did not see a priest who have left the church. They saw somebody who has come with COVID. So that was the story. So by the time now COVID was over, I was already now niko na family, my wife is expectant, and so people are now happy. We are happy that now you are settled, and I'm so grateful. So we called people, our families, the family of my wife, my family, and the Christians, and we had a very, very beautiful wedding.
Together with the church?
Yes, together with the church. Yeah, it was all over in the news, and so many people are so happy. Yes.
And the church supported you?
Yes.
Is this still the Roman Catholic?
I would say the Roman Catholic would not support openly, because you see that's now kind of going against what they have always taught their people. It has been very hard, although it was also a very good time when this wedding was happening, because there was already a conversation in the whole world, even here in Kenya, in the villages, at homes, that the Pope had started something called a synod, where people would be given some interviews to say what they would wish their church to be, because the church had realized we have always been teaching people, telling people what to do. We have never listened. So at that time, already when I was doing the wedding, some bishops, even from Kenya, were in Rome discussing on the question, the things that these Christians wanted. And some of the major thing that was very pronounced during that conference in Rome was the issue of the role of women in the church, because they felt like women were still not well recognized. The second one, and very big, that was all over the world, was about allowing priests to marry. And even the Pope himself, in the year 2015, when he was coming to Kenya, he had already said that celibacy is not eternal. It was not something that was made by God. He himself is quoted to have said, celibacy is temporal. It was created by human being, and it can be withdrawn. The issue of marriage is divine. It was ordained by God. True. In the book of Genesis, that God created a man and a woman. And that was my statement during the wedding, that God wanted, he created us, and he when he brought them together, he said, go and create and multiply. So, and then there is nowhere that God said you cannot serve him if you are in the church. You are serving marriage, and that is God's ordained.
Okay. Yeah. And today you serve the church under which rite? Yeah. Transition from Roman to?
Yeah. First of all, the Reformed Catholic, that was introduced to Kenya by a bishop called Miringo from Zambia. He came to Kenya, I don't know which year, and the day he arrived, the following day he ordained 14 priests who are deacons.
Serve under which church now?
Now the Reformed. Yes, already they were deacon ordained in the Roman, but now he ordained them to be under the Reformed Catholic Church. And the reason why maybe we would say we are calling them Reformed is because we could not understand. Because even the people who are called, I said Orthodox, the Episcopos and others are also part of the Roman Catholic, no, not the Roman, the Catholic Church. Yeah. But it was not easy or possible for them to now go in, so they had to start like a new branch. And currently, you'll be surprised, within very few years, we already have 12 bishops in Kenya who have marriage, who have families, and I wish they would come together and like make a statement, because they are Catholics, but they don't associate with the Romans. We preach Jesus, we don't preach the Roman culture, the Roman people. We have so many other priests, and I believe now from this conversation we can have an opportunity to bring them together so that they can be able now to wear, so that people do not feel like when they see a married priest, they feel, wow, this is a mystery. No, it's ni kitu ya kawaida.
So Father Waiguru, thank you so much for sitting next to me and sharing your story. Really appreciate that, and I know our audience are going to actually find it interesting and learn about our history, which I feel is so important, right? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I sincerely appreciate. God bless you. God bless the work you're doing. Yes.